Hi there, it's Mandy. Welcome back to another review. Today we're looking at the Pantasy Sherlock Holmes 221B Baker Street apartment. 86218, 1,088 pieces. Here is the instruction booklet. I like the design of the cover. In the first few pages of the instruction booklet, they kind of give you an introduction of the set, where they got the inspiration. They also mention that this is fully authorized, licensed set, and they try to incorporate some references or Easter eggs to the stories in the Sherlock Holmes series. Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with this series, so I can't tell you what all these references are. You're gonna have to discover them yourself. The instructions are easy to follow, but there are a few places where the color of the bricks in the book are a little off, so they don't really match the actual color of the bricks, which was a little confusing. The first thing I can say about this set is that the clutch is a little tight. It's definitely not the worst that I've experienced, but it's definitely on the tighter side. This set can sort of be split into 3 sections, and you build these separately and then you put them together. The bags are numbered, by the way, which is great. So let's look at it in the order that you build them, starting with the kitchen. So let me separate out the kitchen. So here's the kitchen. The first thing you notice about this kitchen is that there are a lot of storage space. There are a lot of cabinets along the back wall. In the bottom there, you have some drawers. I think some of them has some utensils in there, but most of them are empty. You have a single stove, and looks like a oven underneath it. And then you have a sink. And then on top of the counter, you have all sorts of bottles, bowls, cups, and things. I kind of like that they use these brick pieces as the backsplash of the kitchen. That's kind of cool. And then above the counters, you have more storage space. You have more cabinets there. Those are all empty. You have a hood above the stove. And then on top of that, you have some tea canisters. So these are all different teas, and all of those are printed pieces. There are no stickers in this set, by the way. They're all printed, which is great. In the middle of the kitchen, you have a table. And on top of the table, you got some bottles, some bowls, and a microscope. I believe that is a reference to a case or something. And then you have 2 chairs for the table. The chair, I thought the way they built it was a little strange. They put the rounded piece on top, so you can't actually see a minifigure on it. It almost looks like they built it upside down, like the other way around. Not sure, but I checked the instructions and this is the correct way. And the chairs are secured by a stud. And then scattered all over the floor, you have some newspapers, you have a letter there. Those are all printed pieces as well, of course. And then along the back, you have a window. And outside the window, you can sort of see through the window, there's a little bit of flowers and greenery there, which is really the back of the set. So on this side, you have those flowers, but on the other side, there is nothing. Just plain on the other side. So that's pretty much it for the kitchen. Let's move on to the living room area. Here is the main, I guess, living room space. You have a door here that leads into the kitchen. And then on the left side of the door, you have a painting and you have a hat stand. One thing to know about this hat stand is that this cross piece, they gave you the wrong size in the original bag. So they give you one that's too big, and then they included the correct piece in a separate bag. So make sure to look for that. On the other side of the door, it looks like you have a bookshelf with a glass door on it. And then along the back wall, you have a fireplace. On top of the fireplace, you have, it looks like a dagger, you have a metronome, and a decor piece that looks like a skull. Maybe some of these are references to the stories. And then sitting on the floor there is a violin. That's just loose, so it doesn't really stand up. It wants to fall down all the time. And then beside that, you have another bookcase. Pretty standard build for the bookcase, but looks good. In front of the bookcase, you have this lamp with these gold pieces that looks good. And then on the corner here, you have like a corner shelf with some plants on there, with some whiskey bottles, and I'm not sure what the other stuff are. In the middle of the room, on the bottom, on the floor, you have some metallic pieces and like red pieces there. I think that's supposed to be like a carpet. And then on top of it, you have two chairs. This is where supposedly Sherlock and Dr. Watson discuss their cases together. This chair is pretty solid build, simple build, no issues with these ones. Both of them are the same, just different color. And then in front of the chairs, you have a table. On top of the table, you have a chessboard, a map, and a telephone. And then beside it, you have this stand with a music note on it. Again, scattered all over the floor, you have some newspapers, some letters. And then in this room, behind this chair, you also have the Strand magazine, which I'm pretty sure it comes up in the series. Moving on to the other side of the living room, or the extension of the living room, is this little part here. So this part and this part connects with these pieces here. You just kind of snap them in. On this side here, first of all, you have this cool looking deer decor piece, wearing headphones. That looks cool. And then you have a desk, and on top of it, you have a typewriter. Really simple build, but does the job. You know what it is right away. You have some letters beside it and a mug, and then another chair in front of it. In the middle of the room, you have like a coffee table with another map on top of it, and then a sofa beside it. On top of the sofa, you have some more paintings, and then beside it, a lamp. On the back there, you have another window. This is what it looks like on the back. On the wall here, there are a little bit of greenery, but I'm pretty sure you would be displaying this piece only front facing. So you can't really see that through the window or anything. Once again, all through the floors, you have some letters scattered around. And that's about it. So let me see if I can put these back together. Okay. Let's take a look at the minifigures. You have Sherlock, of course, and he's holding a magnifying glass. He actually has two different faces. So if you switch to back here, you see his other face and it's not covered. So that's kind of creepy. And then you have Dr. Watson. He's holding a cane. He only has one face. And then you have the old lady, which is their landlord, Mrs. Hudson. She's holding a teapot. And then finally, you also have this guy, which is Moriarty. And he looks like he's holding a gun, looking mischievous there. So all the furniture in the room are held down by studs, which is nice because nothing really moves around, especially since the clutch is a little bit tight. But they don't have any studs for the minifigures themselves to stand on, so that's kind of a shame. So they kind of just slide around if you put them in there. Even the chairs still don't have studs for the figures to sit on, which was kind of a shame, so they can't really stay on there. Overall, I do like this set. I think that there's a good amount of detail in it, and I like the color combinations they chose for it. It has this really cozy looking feel to it. But I do think that without the minifigures, you can't really tell that this is a Sherlock Holmes set, which may be a good thing for some of you if you want to just use this set with your own figures. The quality of the bricks and of the minifigures, I think, can be improved. I think maybe some of their newer sets hopefully have improved. Pantasy does do a lot of authorized sets, and I look forward to seeing more come out, and hopefully they'll keep using more and more printed pieces and add even more details to the sets. And that's it for today's review. Thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you on the next one.